And with that, we bring in Chris Broussard, who, of course, has his own radio show along with crazy Uncle Rob Parker, where they argue for 3 hours every night, 7 to 10 Eastern Time, 4 to 7 Pacific. And, of course, you saw him on Undisputed. You see him on all of our TV shows.
Wow.
Right now.
You just dropped a bomb, Doug Gottlieb.
Not really. Not really. Again, this is – I don't think it's being as disrespectful to LeBron as Nick Wright right now is probably tweeting furiously. But the reality of it is look, dude, he's 34.
No,
his contemporaries are Dwayne Wade, who is petering out in Miami with a miracle last-second shot a couple nights ago, and of course last night.
Bosh, Carmelo Anthony.
Right, those guys aren't even in the league.
If LeBron fell off from tonight forward, he still has had a tremendous career.
He's still a top 10, top 5, maybe best player of all time.
He's played way more games than Michael Jordan did, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, all those guys. I would say, LeBron hasn't had as good of a season as a lot of those guys on that list. He's not going to be first-team All-NBA, which is a trip. But before he got hurt, he was on pace to be first-team All-NBA. He had carried that team to the 4th seed from a 35-win team before to the 4th seed. And I think my feeling is I still have LeBron as the best player in the world. Here's why. I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt he's played 9 games since the injury. And you're right, he hasn't looked great. He's looked atrocious at times on defense. But I think I need to see more of a sample size. If he does not get them into the playoffs and they continue losing to these bad teams, in part because of his play, then I'll give you he's not the best player in the world. But I just think he's earned the benefit of the doubt to say, I'm not going to take that mythical title from him after 9 games. Because before the injury, the 18 he missed and the 9 games, it was arguable. I mean, you were saying Durant, I think, at that point, and certainly people could make arguments for other guys. But I think most people still, through Christmas Day, believe LeBron was the best player in the world, and he was carrying that team to a nice season.
I think, look, they were 17-10 at one point in time, but if we remember back, okay, we're cutting out the first 10 games where it really wasn't.
Well, and it
really,
takes, a while to get adjusted.
Look, right. I mean, part of the whole Lakers thing is they were learning how to play with LeBron, and just as they started to learn how to play with him and with his style, then he goes out. Now they got to learn how to play without him. Then they come back. And, oh, yeah, by the way, while they're out, Joy pointed out, they've had a litany of injuries, not just LeBron. And then when they come back, now their schedule is more difficult. My issue is we're judging him, evaluating him against the best players. Some of these losses have been against the worst teams. It's not like they're losing to – it's not like when you're losing – when they lost to the Sixers are really good, You lose to the Warriors are really good. You lose to the Grizzlies, the Pelicans. The only reason they beat the Pelicans is because Anthony Davis only played 20 minutes. Otherwise, they lose that game. And I'm just evaluating based upon what the body of work this year against everybody else's body of work at the top. And I would tell you that their body works better.
I could argue, again, these last 9 games, without question, I mean, he hasn't been the same. But I don't know, did he get out of shape when he was hurt? Did he not know how to respond to the longest absence of his career? Is he still working his way back? I think he's earned the right for the benefit of the doubt to a larger sample size. And I typically say you don't become the mythical best player in the world in the regular season. Let's see what you do in the postseason. Tracy McGrady, if you just look at the regular season, he's a Hall of Famer, and I think deservedly so. I know you argue that.
Correct.
But regular season, I think you would be like, oh, without question, he was a Hall of Famer. But then you look at the postseason, and even though he actually performed well individually, he never could lift the team to win. So Giannis has never won a playoff series yet. Durant has certainly done it, and that's why if it's not LeBron, I would say it's Durant right now based on the postseason performances he's had rather than Giannis. But if Giannis comes out and is great in the postseason, then I would say it's Giannis.
All right, and we also have James Harden, who had 58 points last night.
He's balling, but he has had some postseason stumbles.
You're right.
Right?
Lakers with a massive test as we're starting to get into kind of must-win territory. They welcome in the Milwaukee Bucks, best record in the NBA, and still no Lonzo Ball. Joy and I were discussing, like, he's gone from a guy who everybody heaped with criticism, kind of rightfully so, only 53 games in his first year, missed all the offseason because of his knee surgery, has shown signs of improvement, but not playing at the elite level I think some would deem necessary of the number 2 overall pick and the hype that surrounded him. But now people are starting to understand, like, man, they really miss him. They legit miss him, especially at the defensive end.
Yeah, they do. I think mainly at the defensive end, although he does some things offensively well. But look, they switch a lot, and he's long, he's versatile, he's got great instincts. You can just look at the numbers. When he's on the court defensively, they're so much better. And offensively, look, I don't want to overstate his absence because he was there during most of that period where LeBron James was injured, and they went 5-8. We know he shoots 41% from the foul line, 32% from the three-point line. He's not as aggressive as he needs to be. So I do agree they miss him. They'll be better off when he gets back. However, I think some people, not you necessarily, but some people are acting like he's the savior. Oh, they need Lonzo when they get Lonzo. But they should be able to your point earlier, they should be able to beat New Orleans without Anthony Davis, Memphis, Indiana without Oladipo, without Lonzo Ball.
It actually kind of helps make my point in that LeBron's become a defensive liability, and he's not the only one. Right? Rondo is living mostly on reputation defensively. He's past his prime. He had a torn ACL a couple years ago. Forget about the multiple hand injuries he had, but and even some of his defensive prowess is a little bit overrated. So it's harder to hide LeBron when you're trying to hide the fact that either you're playing without a point guard or you're playing with a point guard who's really a backup in Rondo. Speaking of defensive liabilities, I heard you say something on Undisputed, which I feel like I told not you so, I told the world so. When they signed DeMarcus Cousins, 95% of the NBA analysts and 100% of NBA fans said, that's a wrap, it's over.
Right.
And I said, well, hold on now. One, he's coming off an Achilles tendon, and he's a massive man. We don't know how he's going to look. Secondly, like when Golden State's been Golden State, they've played without a center on the court because it allows them to switch and really just kind of hide Steph. You know, you got 4.5 defensive players.
Right.
Now you got a legit big guy. How's it working out in Golden State so far?
No, that's a great point. And look, when you look at the eye test, you say Boogie's running the floor, Boogie's passing the ball, he's obviously scoring, and his attitude is good. Like on the court, it looks good, again, from the eye test. Look at his numbers. In 24 minutes a game, he's giving you 15 points, a team-high 8 rebounds, 3.5 assists. So all that looks good. But when you really delve deeper, Doug, there is a problem. And look, I still expect them to win the title. I still would be stunned if they didn't. However, the numbers show that when Boogie, since he's come back, when he's off the court, their offense is at a historic high. 118 is their rating, which is 2 or 3 points greater than the Showtime Lakers and the Warriors of 2017, who are the best offenses ever. Defensively, their rating is 105, which is top 5 in the league. When Boogie's on the court, offensively, 108 is the rating, which is mediocre in today's NBA. And 108 is the defensive rating, which is mediocre in today's NBA. So their net rating with him off the floor is over 12. With him on the floor is 0.2. Like you said, it was just hiding Steph defensively. And you can do that successfully as a team. Now it's hiding Boogie and Steph, and it gives your opponents 2 guys to target. I used to look for Steph, try to get him in pick and roll. Now I can do Steph or Boogie, so it makes them more vulnerable. I kind of hate to put it on Boogie like that because his attitude's been good, and he's putting up numbers. Last night he had 21-11, but they lost.
Yeah.
Right.
To the Magic.
Right, and Draymond's also, look, his defense has declined big time.
And his offense, he can't make a shot.
Right, both sides. 25% from 3, worst of his career since rookie year, and like 7 points a game, worst since he's been a starter.
Last thing, and I got like 35, 40 seconds for you. The Celtics. How fixable are the Celtics?
Look, they may lose to Milwaukee and Toronto just because they're better teams. I still think they should beat Philly, but I didn't like Kyrie's comments about, I just wish the playoffs were here, because they can't just flip a switch. He may have seen LeBron do it and think we can flip a switch, but as good as Kyrie is, he's not LeBron James. And he should be thankful that they have these 20 games to try to work this thing out. You know, I think it's fixable. I think they've got good guys. From what I'm told, it's not like guys just dislike each other off the court. There's some good relationships off the court, but the on-the-court chemistry is not there. So I think it's fixable. They got 20 more games to play.
I wonder if when he's saying playoffs, he means we know Gordon Hayward's not going to get 28 minutes a game, that we're trying to have him kind of work through, and then finally we get to the playoffs, like, okay, Gordon, we'll wait till next year, because that's a huge thing.
That's a great point, because everybody's focusing on the addition of Kyrie and saying that's the problem. What about Hayward getting his 26-7 minutes a night?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.